My mom has this recipe written down by my great Uncle Vito in her house, in her family cookbook that she's keeping for our family. So it's 3 generations. Actually, I would be 4th generation. The thing about marsala mushrooms is the marsala tastes so good with the mushroom flavor. So together, it's a classic dish. So we're going to be cooking the mushrooms first. We'll cook half of them.
I like it.
And then you want to throw your salt in. Because what the salt does is it releases the water in the mushrooms. And there's a pepper. What I'm going to do, now that I've salted them and peppered them, I'm going to go ahead and start putting the marsala in now. Because I like the mushrooms to like just soak up the marsala, because that's, to me, that flavor of the mushrooms with the marsala. Yum. So we need to pound the chicken. What I've done is I've bought, this is just chicken tenders, but you see they need to be a lot thinner. See how thick they are? So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to show you a little trick with this plastic bag. It's just your regular gallon plastic Ziploc bag. And we're going to cut the sides off. So now I'm going to take this chicken tender that we saw how thick it was. Let's see how easy it is to make it thin. Wasn't that many whacks. Open it up. And voila. See how thin it got? This is the consistency that you want for marsala. Okay, if you don't have a mallet, most people do have a rolling pin. And you can just use that to pound your chicken. Simple. I have this weapon-like looking one, but you can use any rolling pin that you have. And look, voila, a chicken cutlet, just like you did if you had a mallet. So our mushrooms are done, and see how they have this like charred look to them? They have soaked up all the marsala, the butter and oil, and they are like an explosion in your mouth right now. That flavor is fantastic. It's going to be great over the chicken. I can't wait till you taste it. Okay, so what I'm doing is I am taking these cutlets, I'm dredging them in some flour that's been seasoned with salt and pepper. And we're going to just fry them up real quick. And I'm putting them over in this next pan. And then when I'm done, this pan has all these crusties in here. And all of that stuff in the pan is going to make the sauce taste amazing. So you don't want to lose it. Make sure you do not clean that pan before you make your sauce. You want every bit of what's in that pan. Okay, we're going to add more butter, because butter is what really does it for this recipe. What I'm doing right now is I'm taking the chicken that we fried and I'm kind of organizing it in the pan so that every piece of chicken is going to get some sauce and some mushrooms. So I'm just kind of overlapping it a little and layering them so that they all fit too. That's another important part. So the pan is getting nice and brown. In fact, what I'm going to do right now, while I still have a couple pieces of chicken, I'm going to go ahead and start putting the marsala in. And what this marsala is doing too, it's deglazing the pan. You've probably heard that term before, but in case you want to know what it is where the alcohol actually helps take all the crusty stuff and all the crumbs off the bottom of the pan. And so at the end, you should really just have a clean pan with just all the flavors from the bottom coming into your sauce. Here's my little ends. I use every piece of chicken that there is. We're going back to our sauce. I'm going to go ahead now and I'm going to put a lot more marsala. And then this is chicken broth. Now you can make your own, but if you're in a hurry, you can always buy this organic chicken broth in any market. It's very good. You can do low sodium or not. So now I'm going to just kind of boil this off. I want it to reduce. And then after it's done reducing, I'm going to add some garlic and put back in the mushrooms. And then the flour that I use to fry the chicken is going to help thicken up our sauce. So that's all been left in the pan as well. You could start to see how all the crust is coming off the bottom of the pan and how the flour is starting to thicken up our sauce. Okay, it's time to put our garlic in. So I'm just gonna dump it in because I already have it ready and chopped. Which is always good, actually. When you're cooking, make sure you prep it all ahead of time, because then when you're cooking, you just have to think about what you're doing with the pan. It makes life a lot easier. Wow, I'm smelling the garlic. So if you're having trouble getting your sauce to thicken back up, you can just put some of your chicken back in because it still has some of the flour. And then what I want you to do is kind of look at the color of the sauce, and you'll see how it's starting to get this shininess to it. That's how you know that it's really starting to get thick. And that's when you're ready to take your chicken back out. Okay. And then I'm going to throw my mushrooms in. And then we're going to be done. And then you're going to get to taste Uncle Vito's chicken marsala. All right, here's our yummy mushrooms. Ready to go back in. Let's mix this up a little bit. Make sure you bring it back to a boil before you pour it over your chicken. Okay, we're all bubbly. Look at the color on that. That is just beautiful. All right, here I go. Pouring. All right, now you want to try to get it again a little bit over everything. Look how clean the pan is, by the way. Check that out. See, all the crusty stuff gone. It's all in this beautiful sauce. All right. Ready to serve. But one last thing, garnish is always important. You want your food to look beautiful as well as taste good. So we're throwing some nice fresh parsley that I picked out of the garden just a few minutes before we started cooking. And there you have it. Uncle Vito would be proud.